For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
The finals of the Men and Women African Cup of Nations. It's always frenetic. On days such as this, there are no tribes, no religion. Here, Nigerian warriors are out to represent, to show the skills that makes us the best. On days like this, the color is one. The color is green. When we get the job done, it is because we have stuck together. When we celebrate, we stand together. Nigerians, united in victory. We are Nigerians. We are one.
The music of my childhood was completely British and American.
So my signature tune is pretty much
The session is not evil. It's just God is putting us, it's a seasonal thing. It will come and go. America has been there.
Nigerians express hope for a better life in the new year 2017.
I will not rest on our oars unless every other Nigerian that is being held captive by the Boko Haram terrorists is rescued.
Nigerian Army intensifies clearance of explosive devices and blocked roads in Sambisa Forest. Plus, group absolves Secretary to the Government of the Federation of blame in corruption charge. Welcome to NTN Network News. My name is Muhammad Kuda Abubakar. Today, 3rd January, is the first working day in the year 2017 in Nigeria, after a series of holidays for the festivities. Oyemi Ajayi was at the Federal Secretariat Abuja and has the situation report on the level of resumption by civil servants.
The arrival of this bus, which is one of the several conveying civil servants on a daily basis about 15 minutes earlier than the usual time, seems to show the enthusiasm with which civil servants are returning on this first day of 2017.
The law has stated that you have to start your work by 8. So I must be there. Every good civil servant as I must be there before 8.
I know that if I should do very well, it all boils down to my own, to the way I start, because I believe that proper preparation prepares proper performances or produce proper performances anyway.
If others too emulate, so things will work well.
For Victor Kingsley and Nwogu Chidima, the day is just like every other day of resumption, but they, however, have New Year resolutions.
Yes, not everybody, because from all indications, so many people went on leave, on their annual leave, and they have no resume. And maybe many are still enjoying their New Year. But to me, I know I have work on my table, And as a responsible civil servant, it is good to comply with government, to do government work.
I always like my family at work because it gives me time to prepare to at least better how it has been in the last year.
I need the progress of this country by working hard and making a kind of support to the federal government and work hard this 2017 to achieve my goal.
Like other civil servants, Victor and Chidima have pledged to put in extra energy and wisdom to propel the change agenda, but are quick to urge the government to provide an enabling environment, including improved remuneration that will reflect the economic realities of the country. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Of course, 2017 is already here, and many argue that the beginning of the year is always the best time for the year, as it is usually filled with renewed hopes and a reminder to re-energize the social contract between the leaders and the led. What are the people's expectations? Chazala Mekie tells us more.
Beginning of the year to many is that time that people position themselves for all the resolutions that will be in tandem with their dreams and aspirations. The year 2016 was undoubtedly a difficult one, as it was the year Nigeria entered its first recession in 25 years, most significantly arising from low global oil prices and domestic production. As the government will do to show up the resilience of the people to meet up its good plans, government has assured that the current hardship being experienced across the country is temporal, given its determination to turn things around.
Recession is not evil. It's just God is putting us, it's a seasonal thing. It will come and go. America has been there.
Yes, we will expect security to continue. Thank you for all the work that you have done on Boko Haram, but it's not over. What about the Shiite movement? What about the Niger Delta crisis? Yes, we're sounding like Oliver Twist, but we know that that is the primary purpose of government.
It is my firm belief that if the government concentrates and works hard on this power sector, it is going to help advance our economy by more than 50%.
With optimism, better days indeed lie ahead. NTA News.
At the end of the Christmas and New Year celebrations, it is expected that there will be heavy vehicular movement in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, indicating the return of people from the holidays. Olajide Bello has this situation report on traffic within the metropolis.
As the first working day after the public holiday declared by the federal government, one would expect the usual hustle and bustle in terms of vehicular movement, but reverse is the case as there is free flow of traffic.
Most places visited within the Abuja metropolis, there was still low vehicular movement, indicating that it's either people are in their offices or taking care of the businesses, or they are yet to return after the Yuletide break.
With expectations of heavy flow of both human and vehicular movements across the country, what measures are being put in place to ensure safer roads and minimal road traffic crashes?
The critical corridors that we witness a lot of upsurge of movement of traffic and human traffic will be manned till January 15th. And enough sensitization will be there going on. There will still be traffic control, there will be traffic calming, there will be removal of obstructions, and there will be light enforcement and mobile court will still be sitting.
Well, with these measures put in place to ensure safety on the roads, it now behoves on the road users to comply with rules and regulations to ensure their safety. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
The federal government has started the payment of 5,000 naira monthly stipends to the poorest and the most vulnerable in the country through the Conditional Cash Transfer, CCT, under its Social Investment Program. Funds for the commencement of the payments in 4 states were released last week to the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, the platform that hosts and validates payments for all government social intervention programs. A statement from the Office of the President says many of the beneficiaries have acknowledged payment as at 30th of December 2016. Under the cash transfer, 1 million Nigerians will receive 5,000 naira monthly as budgeted for in the 2016 budget. The second set of 5 states to complete the first batch of 9 states will soon follow. The Buhari Media Support Group has called on Nigerians to be hopeful that the country will improve in the new year. In a statement, the group's coordinator, Muhammad Labbo, stated that though the year 2016 was tough, it was a year which the Buhari administration used to lay the foundation for the economic prosperity and self-reliance in 2017 and beyond. Is that the effort of government to lay a solid foundation is captured in the 2017 National Budget of Recovery and Growth, and Nigerians should work with the government to ensure that growth and recovery takes place in 2017. Passengers have commended move by the federal government to expand the standard gauge train service to link more commercial cities as more people patronize its service from Abuja to Kaduna. Ibrahim Bellagunda has this situation report.
Kaduna-Abuja rail line is one of the first standard gauge modernization projects of the federal government, with plan to expand to other commercial cities over a period of 20 years. That was the mood at the busy Rugasa station, Kaduna, with passengers and their relatives trying to secure their travel tickets, with some taking the ride for the first time, while to others it has become a routine affair. Some passengers interviewed said the rail transport has reduced pressure on Kaduna-Abuja Expressway, while calling for additional coaches to accommodate the increasing demand.
I want experience following the rail.
It will increase the level of safety generally.
It's a welcome development.
It's fantastic, except for the slight delay we had in one of the stations.
Based on this experience that I have never ever had it before.
They noted that the expansion project will revolutionize Nigerian railway system.
Most of the people that we boarded together, some they say, had it been this thing is going to Kano, they will have prepared that.
Can be expanded, people will quite enjoy.
Some passengers are optimistic that more coaches and patronage by Nigerians will provide more job and commercial opportunities at the train substation and terminus. In Kaduna, Ibrahim Bellagunda, NTA News.
Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Bello Dambazo, has appealed to well-meaning Nigerians not to allow themselves to be dragged into religious conflicts. He noted that this has become necessary following insinuations that the violence in southern Kaduna is fueled by religion. A statement from the press secretary to the minister, Ihisiema Osagbovo, states that there are people who desire to further create division along religious or ethnic lines of the country for their selfish interest with the aim of creating instability. The minister noted that true religious leaders do not fan embers of hate, but ensure that communities live in peace and harmony. General Dambazo maintained that economic growth and development will remain a mirage for Nigeria with more than 500 ethnic groups and multiple religions unless there is the resolve to live amicably as a people with a common destiny. Citing examples of how communities in Zamfara, Katsina, Taraba, Enugu, Lagos, and Niger states were victimized by those violent criminals, the minister said a criminal should be treated as such, whether he is involved in armed robbery, drug trafficking, homicide, and that people should avoid honoring criminals with religious or ethnic attachments. He advised opinion and religious leaders to refrain from giving the crisis between herdsmen and sedentary farmers in southern Kaduna a religious connotation. Rather, attention should be focused on the real enemies of society, who illegally acquire weapons to terrorize Christian and Muslim communities. The Interior Minister said the police have been directed to ensure law and order and to arrest and prosecute anyone involved in criminal activities and urge citizens to cooperate with the police by providing actionable intelligence in its quest to restore normalcy to the troubled communities. General Dambazo reassured citizens of government commitment to tackle the root causes of similar crises in all parts of the country, while paying special attention to measures aimed at eradicating poverty, climate change, population explosion, and the challenges of the Nigerian youths, which have been identified as some of the causative factors of these conflicts. Senate President Bukola Saraki has pledged that the senators, upon resumption, will look into the crisis that led to the wanton loss of lives and property in the southern part of Kaduna State in recent times. The Senate President made this known while responding to the cry of a concerned Nigerian on Twitter over the massacre of about 800 Christians in Kaduna South. Dr. Saraki stated that every Nigerian life matters, adding that the Senate will ensure that the rule of law prevails. Special Assistant on New Media to the Senate President, Bamikole Omishore, in a statement, said the Senate President is in touch with senators from Kaduna State and is constantly getting updates on developments. The Primate of the Church of the Lord, His Eminence, the Most Reverend Dr. Rufus Okikiola Oshitelu, has commended for the victory recorded so far in fighting terrorism in the country. The Primate gave the commendation in his New Year message in Ogere, Remo, Ogun State. He noted that dislodging the Boko Haram insurgents from the Sambisa forest is a major breakthrough that must be celebrated. He, however, cautioned the military to closely monitor the insurgents so as to stop them from regrouping or mingling with innocent citizens. Dr. Oshitelu urged both the states and the federal governments to intensify efforts towards the diversification of the economy in 2017, especially in the area of agriculture, which he noted will ensure food security as well as improved revenue earnings from export. The Primate advised that power supply be accorded priority in infrastructure development in view of its multiplier effect on all sectors of the economy. A statement signed by Reverend Mrs. Adedoyin Badejo says the Primate, who enjoined his colleagues, the prelate, to continue to intercede for the nation, also urged President Muhammadu Buhari to forge ahead and fight corruption to its logical conclusion. The Nigerian Army has intensified the clearance of improved explosive devices and roads in Sambisa Forest to facilitate the conduct of 2017 Small Arms Championship of the Army. The Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Sani Osman Kukasheka, said this during a news conference in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
The briefing, the first in 2017, is the first official outing of the Army spokesperson as a substantive director and is aimed at highlighting some major training and operational activities of the Nigerian Army in 2016. Top was Operation Lafia Dole and Rescue Finel in Northeast that led to the capture and defeat of Camp Zero, the former stronghold of Boko Haram in Sambisa Forest.
I will not rest on our oars unless every other Nigerian that is being held captive by the Boko Haram terrorists is rescued. And that includes the Chibok schoolgirls.
Trainings and exercise to sharpen troop skills in line with arising security challenges in different political zones include exercise Python dance and crocodile smile to address and secure the Niger Delta regions, while Harbin Kunama was conducted to tackle cattle rustling and armed bandit in the North Central. On the ongoing army recruitment, the director urged the public to be mindful of criminals extorting money from applicants.
Nigerian Army recruitment is free of charge. We don't even sell application form.
He called on Nigerians to support the military with information to help in securing the nation. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The federal government says it is putting in place modalities that will enable the Nigerian military personnel on their houses after service. Executive Secretary, Federal Government Staff Housing Loans Board, Hannatu Fika, said this at a meeting with the Nigerian Army Post-Service Housing Development Sector in Abuja. Adebola Brookson Sunday reports.
The fall of the final stronghold of the Boko Haram terrorists in the dreaded Sambisa forest in Borno State, which many Nigerians described as a Christmas gift to the nation, is one of the major feats achieved by the Nigerian military in the recent times.
When officers and men retire.
To motivate these gallant soldiers, the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, through its Loans Board, says it is strengthening its relationship with the post-service housing development.
So that at the end of the day, having served your fatherland for 35 years or up to the age of 60, you should have something to show. And one of the most glaring things that you should be able to show is a house over the head of your family.
There is no reason why after service that an officer or soldier should not be able to retire into his home peacefully and live a very decent and contribute to national development.
Hannatu Fika says the Nigerian military will immensely benefit from the recently approved 13 billion naira for the board by President Muhammadu Buhari. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
The Citizens Action to Take Back Nigeria, a non-governmental organization, says allegations of fraud and corruption leveled against the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, are not true. The group at a media briefing said it carried out an on-the-spot assessment to arrive at its conclusion. Basi Itaekpan has the report.
The group observed that the decision to step down on their action is based on the investigation that took them to the Northeast on a fact-finding mission about the allegations and to interact with the beneficiaries. From the findings, the group revealed that the contract was not awarded to Roller Vision, which the SGF is associated with, but was only engaged as project consultant.
Facts available to us show that Engineer Babachir Lawan actually resigned from Roller Vision Engineering and all other companies he had shareholdings in through his letter of resignation addressed to his lawyer, Didi Azura and Co., suit C78.
One of the beneficiaries of the Pine Project in the Northeast observed that the intervention has alleviated the economic hardship of the people in the area. Hence, the SGF should be commended rather than asked to resign.
Why? Because a lot of what is happening there has not happened for 30 years. We have been looking for opportunities, for chances to see that we belong to this country called Nigeria as well.
While commending the federal government on efforts to take over Sambisa Forest, they suggested collective efforts to reintegrate the people back to their communities. Basi Taikbang, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still to come, 23 out of 30 members of the Jigawa State House of Assembly removed their speaker, and the PDP Secretariat workers want the party's National Secretariat reopened. Details of these and more after this break.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria would have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Hello?
Welcome to the M6 Challenge. Using your new Gioni M6, carry out everything on that list, starting now. Get to the door. Congratulations, you have passed the test.
Gioni M6 with a 5,000 milliampere battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge.
Gioni M6, always in power.
The Honorable Minister of State for Aviation, Senator Adis Sirika, cordially invites stakeholders in the sector to a consultative meeting on Thursday, 5th January 2017. Venue, Shehu Musa Yaradua Center, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. The forum is to enable the Honorable Minister update stakeholders on the proposed closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, for repairs and the use of the Kaduna International Airport as an alternative. For further information, please contact 080-6564-3949, 080-3925-5383. Sabiu Zakari, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
The Tony Elumelu Foundation's $100 million entrepreneurship program is empowering Africa's next business leaders. 54 countries, 10,000 entrepreneurs. Become a Tony Elumelu entrepreneur. Apply now.
The Future Assured project and its components, Get Involved, initiated by the wife of the President, Her Excellency Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, is not relenting in championing the cause of Nigerian women and children. Its provision of free medical screening, educational support, and the fight against malnutrition, especially in the Northeast, has indeed informed international recognition, partnerships, and awards.
We are very grateful and appreciative for your wonderful gesture you have accorded to us.
With Future Assured, Nigerian women and children are assured of a bright future.
Future is assured when we join hands to promote the health of our women and children. Get involved.
Get involved and support the Future Assured initiative. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
Appreciating the resilience of the Nigerian Armed Forces, join the Minister of Defense, service chiefs and other stakeholders in the defense sector as we pray for the Nigerian Armed Force veterans of various world and internal conflicts. Venue, National Christian Center, Abuja. Date, Sunday, 8 January 2017. Time, 12 noon. And National Mosque, Friday, 13 January 2017. Time, 1 p.m. The welfare of the troops, the veterans and the families of our fallen heroes is the responsibility of all. Be a part of the national appreciation of the resilience of the armed forces, our veterans and the families of the fallen heroes. The efficacy of prayer is not to be underestimated. Join other Nigerians as we pray for Nigeria, our troops, our veterans, our fallen heroes and those they left behind. Join us. Announcer, Brigadier General Rabi Abubakar for National Planning Committee.
So what's up, sweetheart? You really look like you're up to something.
I have a secret.
Okay.
I'll be going to Europe next week.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like you have your visa, your passport, your plane ticket?
No, not that way. Some men are helping us. We pay them, they take us through the desert, and then we cross the sea into Europe.
The desert, the sea. Isn't that the route where many have died?
Yes, it is indeed a very dangerous journey. In 2016 alone, 4,900 people died while crossing the Mediterranean Sea to enter Europe. Many were Nigerians. For the very few who survived the journey, they are forced into prostitution or other crimes just to survive. Eventually, they will be arrested and deported to Nigeria. Don't be a victim. Don't go this way.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. The staff under the payroll of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have held a peaceful protest calling on the Nigeria Police Force to open the party's secretariat, which has been under lock and key for about 10 months now. This is coming as the authorities of the Nigeria Police Force say the secretariat was locked up to maintain law and order. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Bednankudu has a situation report.
This is the Wadata Plaza PDP National Secretariat in the shadow of itself, tattered flags and taken over by weeds. Both the street and the gates of the Secretariat have been closed on the authority of the police, following leadership crisis rocking the party for almost a year now. This is a concern of the more than 100 staff of the party secretariat as they resort to prayers and peaceful protests, calling on the judiciary to hasten judgments on pending cases. They also want the police to allow them access to their offices.
It may be recalled that no court in the country gave the order for the lockdown of the PDP National Secretariat by the Nigerian Police Force. And therefore, we demand the immediate and unconditional reopening of the Secretariat.
We are responsible staff,
Our duty is supposed to work for the party. Even if we are paid the whole money we needed, and then we are not working, we are not comfortable at all.
In a swift reaction to their cause, the police said the action was taken in good faith to avoid breakdown of law and order.
It's not an issue of opening the office, it's issue of ensuring that there is peace. The staff themselves should be able to work in a very peaceful atmosphere and know who their master is. So then they should be very patient. Once it's probably resolved, I think the case is in appeal court now. Once it's resolved and they come back to the police and they inform us that they have resolved their issues amicably, the offices will be opened.
Boza Ahmad Makarfi and Sharif factions of the PDP have been operating in temporary secretariats. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Bruno Kudu, NTA News.
Speaker of the Jigawa State House of Assembly, Idris Garba Jahun, has been removed from office. 23 out of the 30 members of the Assembly signed for the removal of the Speaker. Awal Mohammed reports that the Speaker was accused of rigidity and uncompromising attitude, as well as inability to carry his colleagues along to move the House forward. Isa Idris Gwaram defeated Musa Suleduse to emerge as the new Speaker. The new Speaker promised to carry everybody along and further cement the existing relationship between the executive and the legislative arm. Similar development, Ekwe Owaji Ibani, representing Andoni constituency, has assumed office as Speaker, River State House of Assembly. The development followed the resignation of the former Speaker, Dabo Toridema Adams. Dibabari Seadoma Nweke reports.
Announcing his resignation after swearing in 12 newly elected members, Dr. Rudima Adams appreciated members for their cooperation in ensuring that achievements were made and challenges surmounted. In his acceptance speech, the new Speaker, Ikunyo Wajibani, also thanked members and the immediate past Speaker for their support in bringing him back.
I will continue the way I have done to also make sure we carry our state beyond where it is today.
That mandate freely given by the good people of Port Harcourt Constituency 1 has been realized.
Whatever goods that has to go with representation is expected to come from me.
The House had earlier passed the 2017 budget estimate of 470 billion naira after deliberation and considerations of the report by the Appropriation Committee. In Port Harcourt, Dibabari Siedomaweke, NTA News.
The federal government policy of increasing rice production to enhance food security in the country, as well as create employment, has been commended. Guests on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria, commended the federal government agric policy while contributing on the implementation of Rice Revolution program in Nigeria so far. Saliu Abdullahi has the report.
In view of the successes recorded in the effort to boost the production of rice in states with high potentials like Nasarawa, Ebonyi, Kebbi, Benue, and Sokoto, among others, the guests were unanimous that Nigeria is on the right path to attaining rice sufficiency for both local consumption and export in the nearest future.
We have farmers that recorded up to 6.7 tons per hectare, really because it is because of the new technology that has actually been involved in it.
We're increasing from that level to a bigger volume because what happened last year has gingered our farmers, and almost everybody is now going into rice production.
I'm sure by the end of next dry season, we are going to produce 1.5 metric tons.
Existing intervention programs are intensifying efforts to encourage both wet and dry season farming with quality seeds, as well as encourage synergy between the public and private sectors. And the business was also described as a right step going forward.
So we hope that this government will stay on the board, will sustain these policies, will continue to encourage production.
We are looking at developing the whole value chain, and presently we are in almost 26 states.
The consumer is still buying rice at very high price because most of the big mills you will see are also dependent on expatriate engineer maintaining their mills and all the rest of them. The cost of production at the big mill level is high.
A A specialist from African Rice Center said research has advanced to develop 5 varieties of rice being used in Nigeria for maximum production. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Minister of State Aviation Hadi Sirika has assured the government and people of Nasarawa State of federal government's support for the construction of a cargo airport. The assurance was given when Nasarawa State Governor Omar Tanko Al-Makura visited the Minister of State to brief him on the development of the construction of cargo airport in Lafia.
We have already demarcated perimeter clearance of the airport, and work will begin in earnest this January.
Nasarawa is a classical and the best alternative to an Abuja aviation activity. It's contiguous with the Federal Capital Territory. It's also the best site when you look at the growth of the Federal Capital is moving towards Kefi, towards Nasarawa.
Hadi Sirika added that the geographical location of Nasarawa State and its flatland, which is good for agricultural products, will serve as the best alternative to Abuja for aviation activities. It's time to join Ademola Adewe in Lagos for the Minister of Works inspection of the 3rd mainland bridge and what good things is happening to the fiscally challenged in Lagos State. Ademola, over to you.
Thank you, Kudu. Good evening and warm welcome to Lagos. The federal government is determined to change the maintenance culture of its roads infrastructure with a view to sustaining them for maximum utilization. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, said this after inspecting ongoing rehabilitation of a section of the 3rd mainland bridge in Lagos. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
After taking a ride through the 3rd mainland bridge, the minister stopped to assess the ongoing rehabilitation of the bridge abutment and approach ramp to the 3rd mainland bridge, which was in a bad shape. The contractor explained to the minister the kind of rehabilitation being carried out.
There has been some movement which have put pressure on the foundation and on the piers of this section of the road. I think I have shown you the misalignment of the two decompile. Now you don't see where we effected the repairs.
The minister expressed satisfaction with the quality of job, stating that the federal government is committed to fixing more roads and bridges in the new year.
Because we now have a 3-year plan, I think affecting about 50-something bridges across the country. Maintenance, repairs, and restoration. And it's going to cost about 270 billion over 3 years.
The minister also warned motorists who turned some parts of the federal roads in Lagos as parking lot to desist from it.
On the Abuja section, for example, it's a major highway, a thoroughfare for people who are coming from the mainland and going to Victoria Land, Ikoyi and all of that. But it's constricted by parking. People are trading. We are going to remove it.
The 3rd mainland bridge in Lagos opened to traffic in the year 1990. It used to be the longest bridge in Africa until another one was opened in Cairo in the year 1996. In Lagos, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
As part of efforts to improve the standards of living of the physically challenged persons in Nigeria, Livelihood Homes Initiative has donated 10 acres of land in Ikorodu area of Lagos to physically challenged persons. This is to help them start farming business as an income-generating venture. Diana Ajale reports that the largesse was disclosed at a seminar held in Lagos.
The empowerment program was meant to train these special persons on how to be self-reliant. Executive Officer, Livelihood Home Initiative, Kelly Wogu urged the physically challenged not to look down on themselves, but be hopeful and resilient. Kelly Wogu appealed to well-meaning Nigerians to show love and care to the physically challenged at all times.
Let me show them how to do agriculture. Let me help them to get the lands Let me help them to get the crops. Let me even help them to pay the workers on the farm until the point of harvest. By the time they do their first harvest, they may not need me anymore.
Some participants thanked the organizers for their gesture.
Even if disabled estate will give it to us, people will appreciate it. We appreciate it. So we don't do something better for us.
Disability is not inability. I believe I can still make good use of myself. So I thank Dr. Kenny Uwogu for what he's doing for the disabled.
Giving hope to the physically challenged and caring for them, organizers say will go a long way at improving their socio-economic well-being, adding that it is one of the major tools that will help to improve their standard of living and enable them to contribute to the economic growth of the country.
You're still on to NTA Network News, reaching you live from Lagos Network Center. We have more reports ahead on the news from Abuja when we return after this timeout. Stay tuned.
You know, from day one, Globe makes life easier. They brought us per second billing, unbelievable data packages, and even an optic fiber cable to make sure we optimize. There are two things in our lives we depend on: the communication and information, voice and data. Whether you sell, buy, learn, teach, serve, or lead, it really comes down those two things: voice or data. Today's world is all about you. You want what you want, how you want it, and Glow delivers. That's why Glow is introducing Flexi, the freedom to use voice and data the way you like on every recharge. No plan, no hassle, easy.
Now on every recharge, Glow Flexi gives you the freedom to use voice and data as you like. Another first from Glow. No bundles, no data plans, no hassles.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Hello?
Welcome to the M6 challenge. Using your new Gioni M6, carry out everything on that list, starting now. Get to the door. Congratulations, you have passed the test. Gioni M6 with a 5,000 milliamp battery to let you go on for 2 days on a single charge. Gioni M6, always in power. Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. Federal government increases tax on luxury goods to be remitted through the Nigeria Customs Service. Uplan Dakok has details of this and more on Business News.
Hello there, thanks for joining me on this segment. A few days into the year 2017, expectations are high on the federal government to focus more on the economy in order to take Nigerians out of the hardship faced in 2016. Economic experts and Nigerians suggest improved monetary policies, structural reforms, and job creation, among others.
A general orientation of the mindset of people would help, would go a long way to change the way the economy would go, because I think when people have a renewed mind of, hey, it's not about picking up free monies here or, doing illegal things to get money, but about working hard and creating value.
I think they should work on empowering the youths. That would also help the restiveness that we are experiencing in the Niger Delta and I think elsewhere.
Expect that they should be able to at least
come up with a policy that will pump up our economy so that no more poverty in the country.
Meanwhile, the federal government has raised duties on luxury goods like yachts and sports utility vehicles, SUVs, imported into the country. The increase released in a circular by the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, shows that under the new rate, 70% of the value of the vehicles will now be paid as tax. The Nigerian stock market went down by 6.17% in 2016, making it the third consecutive decline. Here's a summary of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange this Tuesday. The stock market concludes this segment. Have a blessed year. I am Moplang Dakok.
Thank you, Moplang. The annual seminar and camping exercise of the West African Izala First Aid Group has ended in Gombe, with an advice to participants to rededicate themselves to serving humanity. Musa Jibrin Tabra has the report.
The 4 days campaign, which drew participants from Nigeria and some West African countries of Gabon, Niger, and Benin Republic, featured for the first aiders. So advised by the security and paramilitary agencies, the campaign was, among other things, instill discipline and prepare the participant for the Herculean task ahead. The national chairman and the secretary of Izala organization, Imam Abdullahi Balalo and Kabiru Mohammed Gombe, commended the conduct of the first aiders during the campaign and urged them to remain steadfast to the service of Allah.
Our wish is to see that our first aiders are really in good shape, in good track, and taking all what they have heard from our scholars to implement it.
This national campaign is a national campaign which this blessed organization used to organize annually. It serves as a capacity building for our first aiders, where they undertake different exercises in order to be physically fit.
The host chairman, Izala organization Gombe State chapter, Alhaji Salisu Muhammad Gombe, commended people and government of Gombe State for their support for the successful hosting. The campaign, which ended with a national preaching, was attended by over 6,000 first aiders. In Gombe, Musa Jibrin Tabra, NTA News.
Jigawa State and local government contributory pension has paid more than 467 million naira as benefits to 301 retirees. Executive Secretary, Jigawa State Contributory Pension Scheme, Suleiman Adamu Kiawa, announced this in Dutse, the state capital. Salihu Aminu reports.
The payment includes terminal and death benefits for pilots received in November 2016. Executive Secretary, Jigawa State and Local Government Contributory Pension, Suleiman Adamu Kiawa, said the payment was divided into 3 categories, namely death and retirement benefits, as well as those who have left service but contributed to the scheme. He said more than 105 million naira was spent in the payment of death benefits to 63 persons who died in active service.
The first category is that of those who contributed but not up to the minimum period of 5 years. That is their 8% contributions to the scheme did not reach the minimum period of 5 years as provided by the law.
Some of the pensioners expressed happiness about the payment process. They called on government to sustain the program as it remains the means of survival of civil servants after retirement. From Duse, Salis Aminu, NTA News.
Amenze Igebo Anyaru has more on NTA Network News. Hello Amenze, happy 2017.
Compliments of the season, and thank you for joining us in the Benin Network Center. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki wants government at all levels to devote much of their time to the care of the elderly. He stated this while inaugurating an ultra-modern elderly care center in Benin City. Good luck, Enaini reports.
Shortly after inaugurating the center, Governor Obaseki inspected the facilities. The governor, who described the gesture as a hallmark of civilization, said the elderly are blessings to the society.
We will partner with you to deal with the issues, the very disgraceful issues of
our cemeteries and how we take care of our dead.
The executive director, Dagoma Foundation, Mrs. Ifeko Okauru, said the foundation will work with the Obaseki-led administration in the area of human development and job creation so as to better the loss of the people. She called on the government at all levels to include care for the elderly in the country's national policy.
We do not have a national policy on the elderly, either at the federal level, and we hope with the governor here that will be one of the very first things as a state that we plan to do.
Deltans have been challenged to use the festivity period to assist the less privileged in the society. Governor Ifeanyi Okowa made this call when he received a team of medical students from Georgia State University and the initiator of Dr. Isioma Okoba Foundation, who are on a free medical outreach in the state. Ifeoma Okafo reports.
I use the occasion to inform the visiting medical team of his administration's efforts to meet the health needs of Deltans, disclosing that government has introduced the health insurance scheme, which will become operational in January 2017. He stated that with a functional health insurance scheme, most Deltans will have access to affordable health care. He said the team's visit to Delta State will broaden his knowledge about the world and position them for leadership roles in the future.
You're offering a service now with the council because beyond the experience, the fact that you're offering yourself to humanity to serve.
Leader of the team, Dr. Isioma Okoba, said the gesture is in line with the smart agenda of providing health care to the rural communities. In Asaba, Ifeoma Okafo, NTA News.
Kudu, we're done from Benin. Do take it away again.
Thank you, Amazing. Up next, Global Tidbits, Sports, and Wednesday's weather forecast. Don't go away.
The year 2016